You know, you know me. I 3 or 4 years. No, it was most likely maybe about 3 years. Um, when I was still, uh, doing that commentary thing for investigation, research purposes, and of course I know that you know that conversation that sparked a lot of things, where I said that the high-ranking politicians in Namibia are not really equipped with natural learning or leadership stance. Of course, this made a lot of people angry, and I included the point where, for example, like when I was doing the commentary stuff, people would ask questions, but they were asking the questions because they had homework. So I would, think, and I'll just respond to it and so forth, and they just copy and paste it, and there, assignment finished. So I started to doubt people's intentions, as anyone would. And then the the jealousy, the incrimination, the attacks, and all of that started. And it was filtering down to threats being made to my family. Yeah, it's a good environment now. But if I was weak, I would probably be dead. The whole questioning my intentions, like, he's just doing that. He's they say, I'm a politician, I'm just doing this and that to campaign so that I can get a post, and when I get the post, I'll shut up. I won't care anymore. Blah blah blah. These very people forget that the assassination attempts were on me. People are trying to play it off as paranoia, blah blah blah. But I'm not an idiot. Through the assassination attempts, the harassment, and I'm talking about thousands of people, right, who are mostly motivated by greed, and so they formulated this ugly picture of me or whatever. They started to send spies that were using the credentials of maids so that they could come and find out intel, right? Look around and see, what does he write what does he write what. And I did that because I think it was 2015 when I was doing when we started to I started to sort of draft the blueprint, right? And I would sort of take the camera close to my eyes and do that as if I was reading. But I wasn't reading anything. As a matter of fact, even when I had like a piece of paper or something, it was completely blank. I kept telling people that I do have an okay retention brain. I can sort of script it in my head. Online, I get hacked. I know I get hacked. I've pinged a lot of people who hacked me. I've even pinged the people. I even found out the people that were rerouting my calls so that they could listen in. A lot of things. And it brought about complications. Now, as I was saying, with the older people who use the younger people to do their assignments, sometimes even go sit down and write exams for them so that they can have the credentials. They get the credentials, but they don't have the knowledge. What's there is experience. And the thing about the experience is that if you don't build upon it, it's useless. If you experience this and that in your lifetime, and in the present you articulate that, but you don't keep a space open for solutions, then it's basically just muttering nonsense. So these were the things I was dealing with. I know I've been saying this a lot. A lot of people say I was lying. Okay, cool. I don't mind. I didn't go open up a docket to say no, I am being threatened by who. There are people who try to have me killed and so forth. I have the scars to prove it, man. It's mental fighting and it's physical. I'm not afraid, man. I was, when my parents went to Pretoria, my mother was pregnant there. That's why I was born in Pretoria, and we came back to Rundu because my parents had an obligation to their family, uplift the family and so forth. Things were very rife and hard that time. People were paranoid and scared and all of that. In fact, even my birth certificate is a lie because it says I was born in Rundu. Why they did this is because if they had said and written that I was born in Pretoria, there was a very good chance something bad would have happened. Those were very, very volatile times. I tell you, those were very volatile times. And I think I already spoke of how I was targeted, the traumatic stuff that they did and all of that while I was still a kid, And, that's why I became overprotective with my little sister, because I didn't want them to do the same. Grow up with that trauma. Because, like Trevor Noah says, I was born a crime. Literally, at that time, being born in Pretoria, it's sort of a crime, you're a traitor. Right? Now it's lighter. Now people say, these people who went out of the country, now they are coming back and asking for, claiming allegiance to Namibia and so forth. But the backstory they don't know is people got chased away. They said their opinions, they gave their advice, and it was dangerous to certain people. It was life or death situations at that time, and they would probably not hire you based on your tribe, history, and suspicion. And people were talking all sorts of things, muttering and lying and so forth. And I was born in Pretoria. And the whole birth certificate, I just want to clear that up, because people are like, what does the birth certificate say this, but you say that? That's the reason. The only thing that I have is my baby card. At the time, they had baby cards, almost like those yellow pamphlets for public hospitals, where they write down the name, the weight, and the time, and the day. And I was born on a Thursday at 7:30 in the morning. That was the prophecy the doctor wrote it. That was it. That's all I have about that. And then the name issues, name issues based on people who lack linguistic abbreviation. My birth certificate says Johannes Kavamba. It's two Kavambas because I'm Johannes Kavamba, as in my dad decided to give me his middle name, and then there's the Kavamba. The way that my family was sort of set was most people were given names. Their original names were, called primitive, and some people had to change their names so that they could get away with atrocities that they did, or, people who were targeted and afraid and they needed a new identity. So, around when I was 6 or something, when the whole 6, 7 somewhere, when the whole MPLA thing came close to our border, and they would come into the shops and fill trolleys with all sorts of food and just walk out. The cashier would ask, where is the money? Why aren't you paying me? And they would be like, do you want me to kill you? They literally did that. And they would walk out scot-free. They killed my friend's aunt, who was walking in the village at a, what do you call them? At a tavern, I guess. They threw a grenade in the building. That's how she passed away. And I don't know what the argument was about. But the thing is, these bush soldiers, most of them are illiterate. And they come from a country where military rules. In Angola, military rules. The military is in power. Right, that's why the Santos can't run away, because you're basically trapped. If you run away, then all of your atrocities will follow. So he seems like a dictator, but there are a lot of people. I mean, he is a dictator, but it should be explained in a manner that a lot of people support him, because that's where their daily bread comes from. They support him because they get to retain their jobs and positions of power for as long as he's president and he's alive. Right, so it was a coup. And most of those guys that were in the bushes that were doing these things, they came out. I mean, people would run, close doors, and run away, and all of that. So it was half a war zone. So why would I be scared of what you call it? Like some SMS I got from some Bokushu guy. The word K-Magic, I put it on my car. When I was in school, I took that name. It means Killer Magic. I took that name because I had this friend and we were like, let's form a rap group. In fact, it was called the VIGs. In the end, I was the only member. Afterwards, a few years later, while I was doing computer science, Um, I was, we formed this little group. We called each other ND. And, it consisted of boys, girls. We were a team, we were a crew, we were a clique. Sweet memories. And bitter too, because one of my friends committed suicide. And for me, that's when it dissolved. She was a really good girl. And the oppressive nature that led to her going all the way to suicide. And at that time, I was also mourning my brother. Or he's my friend, but he's my brother. We grew up together. He passed away in a car accident. Right after that, his mother passed away. So I was dealing with that, and I started to sort of ignore her when she was asking me for help and advice and all sorts of things. And at the end of the day, I felt like I neglected her. She had no one to talk to, and which led to her feeling alone. And yeah, I don't want to tell her story. That it's completely personal there. I'm merely saying this just to sort of point out certain aspects and elements of things. So the K Magic on the car that I put on the car, sort of nostalgia. And there would be sometimes when my dad would drive, it's still there, K Magic. It was my car. It still is. I don't want to sell it, man. I don't know. I've tuned it so much, and people have tried to break it for so long. I even have a brand new engine in her, So anyway, for forgetting that, since I'm looking toward a super bike now, something I'm serious about on a very super bike. I think it'll be dope. That aside, the K Magic. So when my dad would go to the north, when we went to the village, since we share the same name, he was Johannes Kavamba. He changed his to John Kavamba, of course. He just told them straight, it's the same name. If you read the Bible, in Afrikaans, there's the book of Johannes. In English, there's the book of John. The passport, me not getting a passport unless I changed my everything, my education credentials, my ID, my driver's license, everything. That lengthy process which led to people murmuring, gossiping, and laughing at me. Yeah, he hates Qs, he doesn't like Qs, blah, blah, blah. So, there have been a lot of things that happened. But, despite that, I'm not bitter, I'm not angry with these individuals. But I don't trust them either. I don't trust them, and I won't trust them. Fear of intimidation, and it still happened. Like one time it happened. It's something where you worry about your family more than you worry about yourself. I can defend myself against this stuff. I'm tough, but I'm adjusting to try and get help or whatever. To accept this community, sharing responsibility life, or what they call it. And I just using that, the fact that I was born in a semi-war zone, and all the other stuff. I fear, fear of death, as people would call it. That doesn't work. You know what? I was told by someone, I won't say the name, who was like, damn it, you made it out alive, because they wanted me to perish. So they failed. And there was a guy here, he used to he made a fire. But I didn't know that the fire he made was him cursing me, cursing my name, speaking to his ancestors, to, bring bad things in my way and all and all. I only found out later on that's what he was doing. His beef, I don't know. I treated him with the highest regard. So yeah, the same guy came crawling back like, yeah, nah, you can't trust that, not after such things. So, that's my stance on fear, man. I'm well over it. It's a motivator, as a matter of fact, for someone like me. So, being considered as a coward is what eventually pissed me off, in case people were wondering. And I just want to say I forgive all these people, man. All these people, what they did, what they wanted to do, their intentions. But they're also good people. They are good people who are good. Friends that flip the coin and, all of a sudden the history of friendship is gone. Nah, man. Cut. I cut them off. Their acquaintances, people I know. I definitely won't confide in those people. Says one thing to you, goes and does another thing, and especially the negativity that is brought up. Nah, I don't want discouragement in my life. I don't need that. So, that's what I'm building up again. And yeah, man, I had to learn how to be without a companion and not being one, or what, but yeah, you go through so much stuff at such a young age, and all because of heritage and potential and all of that stuff. I get it, I see it, and I'm not afraid. So I'm not afraid. Now they know I'm not afraid. They're the ones with dry lips. So, I say don't be intimidated, don't fear. Takes you nowhere. To become a slave master to become a slave in the age of development, that won't be me. That will not be me. And as when people throw obstacles, let them throw obstacles. Just move around them. And I found out ways to move around them. You stick to one thing, people call you crazy, stupid, and when they start to see people that appreciate it, all of a sudden, oh yeah, him. And I think my focus is steered towards research and development. That's where my focus is. I'm not going to derail. I'm going to keep on keeping on despite everything, because someone has to take the burden for the future. I know I'm young and I'm told I should sit down, it's not your time, and so forth. Same people that were saying this were the same people that were stealing my information, hiring mates to come and check for some sort of information and all in all. So, there's the contradiction. And now it's we, and it's an unstoppable force. And like I said, when I tweeted, I wanted to commemorate that, went from zero relevance to actually having some sort of impact. That's great. I would read newspapers, read through the newspaper, and here are the exact things that you put your hard work into to find the solution, and some stranger takes it and puts their name there. So that they can be celebrated. And it's not about wanting credit or anything, but it's about ethics. That's shameful. And I'm okay with that. And I think we should all be okay with that. Just go against the grain, whatever it may be, man. So, there goes that, y'all. Peace out.